Good afternoon, everyone. Respected Director Sir, Assessor, and my dear colleagues and our senior officers present here. Today, myself, Sri Partha and my friend Jayanta will going to present one PPT on the subject of climate change, its causes, impacts, and our resilient future. Now, what is climate change? It refers to a long-term shifts in temperature and weather pattern. Climate change is a global problem with local impacts, and climate change is already making some hazards such as heat waves, heavy rainfall, and storm surges more frequent and severe. Now, this picture shows our climate system comprising with the cryosphere, means the ice and snow, and atmosphere, and volcanoes, oceans, rocks, and lands. This is the climate system. So, climate system comprising all of these things. Next. Now, causes of the climate change.
Genetic power.
Now, generating power. Number two, manufacturing goods. Number three, cutting the forest. Actually, pictures already I have done in my desktop, but it's some misplaced wording. Now, first picture you can see just the carbon dioxide emitted from the thermal power plant, which goes to the atmosphere, causing to the global warming. Next picture shows this. The infrared rays are emitted from the manufacturing factories, which also goes to the atmosphere, causing the global warming and also main causes in the climate change. Number three, the deforestation. Deforestation means this just due to deforestation, the amount of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is increases, which also causing to the global warming. Number four is the due to traffic, using transportation. Due to heavy traffic, using the fossil fuel, means petrol. After that, it emits the carbon dioxide, which also goes to the atmosphere and causing the global warming. And last picture is the agricultural field, where in the agricultural field, the fertilizers are used. Being fertilizers used after this, the nitrogen gas or potassium gas is emitted from the agriculture field. This also causes the climate global warming. Okay. Now, impacts of climate change: rising temperature, extreme weather events, sea level rise, ocean acidification. Rising temperature means the increased global average temperature lead to the more frequent and intense heat waves. And extreme weather events, the climate change is intensifying the storms, floods, droughts, and wildfires, causing the widespread damage. Sea level rise means melting glaciers and thermal expansion of water, causing the sea level rise to rise, threatening the coastal community and ecosystem. And the ocean acidification means the increased absorption of carbon dioxide by the oceans. Now, after this slide, I will show these details. This, okay. Now, first picture you can see here, 5 climate futures predicted by the IPCC, means Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change Board. Possible scenario for it is predicted for 4 decades. Suppose the first best estimate and very likely range. Near term, mid-term, and long term. Suppose in the near term, 2021 to 2040, here you can see 1.5 degrees centigrade to next 1.2 to 1.8 means 0.3 degrees centigrade. Same here. Next you can see the 0.5 degrees centigrade heading. Next 1 degree centigrade. It is only prediction. So this is the rising temperature. And next the extreme weather event. It is a flood prone area. You can see here the total flooded area. Next sea level rise due to the melting of glaciers. Next carbon dioxide and hydrogen dioxide. After this going to the oceans, the total water of the oceans acidification. These are the impacts. Okay. Next. Now, some disaster loss and damage flood in the last 5 years in Assam due to climate change. अगर आप लोग चाहते हैं कि इसको डिटेल पढ़ो तो पढ़ो ना, या समझ गए ना? तो ईयर में 2020 से 25 तक ये it is collected from internet, and as well as the Assam State Disaster Management Authority. We have visited there and collected this data. Loss means the suppose human life lost 880 perfectly numbers. In last 5 years, 880 human lives already dead due to flood. Similarly, the population affected total 16.47 million. And next house damage, next road damage, next crop area affected, mainly things about 6.51 lakh hectare. Okay. Next, existing challenges in flood management in India, respect of the climate change. Okay, changes in rainfall patterns, cyclones, cyclonic calculations, etc. Continued increase in population exposure, particularly in floodplains. What? Previous slide. What? Changes in rainfall patterns. It can be predicted by the trend analysis of rainfall. It has some formula. After that, we can predict this or observe this. But in this time, it is not possible. Okay. Now, adaptation mitigation to climate change. What is adaptation? Adjustment to the current and future impacts of climate change, rather than trying to prevent or reduce the system. These two pictures has different meaning. One picture is the houses under the flood, and due to this product, we have to construct the house in the local remote area in the high-rise land. Next, what is mitigation? Actions taken to reduce the greenhouse gases. So greenhouse gases means the limit to extent of global warming. So except petrol vehicle, you can use the electric vehicle. So that the mitigation to reduce the greenhouse gas. It is our advice. Okay, next. Take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. Mobilize your Gram Sabha, set your Panchayat specific targets, coordinate with government and non-government agencies, tap resources from centrally and state-sponsored schemes, causing ensured services reach the community. What can Gram Panchayat do? Integrate sectoral climate change considerations into local planning and facilitate the awareness building on a scale of climate change impact, conducting the vulnerability assessments. Now, these are some adoption strategies and mitigation strategies, such as the enhanced early warning systems. मीन्स इसमें क्या होता है, पहले ही वो फ्लड इफेक्टेड एरिया में सब लोग को अलर्ट किया जाता है कि इधर फ्लड हो रहा है, तो फ्लड से AWS इसमें भी कैसे अलर्ट करते हैं, कैसे अलर्ट करता है अर्ली वार्निंग? इट इज अ सिस्टम, इट इज अ स्ट्रेटजीज. Flood management already you told. In the river bank stabilization, you know. No sir, no.
नो सर,
No sir.
कुछ जगह में फ्लड ज्यादा होता है सर, कुछ
जगह
में कम होता है सर.
सर पहले था, अभी सर रिसेंटली सर ये नहीं हो रहा है सर. लास्ट 5 years पे तो ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं हो रहा है.
ज्यादा होता है. हाँ, कुछ एरिया में ज्यादा हो सकता है, कुछ एरिया में कम हो सकता है.
क्लाइमेट चेंज के लिए ज्यादा नहीं, कम भी हो सकता है.
हाँ, ऐसे समझा दीजिए. क्वेश्चन जब करते हैं आप लोगों को वही ब्रीफ करना है.
मतलब सर एडॉप्शन स्टडीज में तो लिखा हुआ है रिवर बैंक स्टोरेशन कैन डू इट बाय टेकिंग द इंट्यूशन स्कीम्स लाइक द मोटर बोर्ड बाय प्लेसिंग द जियोबैंक्स एंड द अप्रॉल.
आप जब समझाएंगे ना, आपका रोल है समझाना. हो सकता है आपका लिखा हुआ है, समझा नहीं, तो आपका काम है उसको समझा रहना. जैसे चीज है ना, वही चीज है. इवन सब कुछ सब लोग हो सकता है, बहुत लोग जानते भी है, लेकिन आपको ये होना चाहिए थे सामने में शायद पता नहीं, इसीलिए आपको बताया गया. और किसी ने क्वेश्चन करते हैं ना, उसको रेस्पेक्ट करके उसको बताना आंसर.
ठीक है सर. नेक्स्ट मिटिगेशन स्ट्रेटजीज, रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी ट्रांजिशन, सस्टेनेबल फॉरेस्ट मैनेजमेंट, रिड्यूसिंग डिफोरेस्टेशन and promoting sustainable transportation and sustainable waste management. Here the reducing deforestation, आप जानते हैं कि फॉरेस्ट डिफोरेस्टेशन हम लोग को कमाना है. it is the mitigation strategies. Same thing, promoting sustainable transportation means the using the electric vehicles or cycling
solar
or
power.
solar power vehicle, anything sort like that. So these are the mitigation. Sir,
Sir,
solar cell. Sir, सर इसको सर हम लोग सर जो मिला है उधर ये लिखा है.
जैसे आपको कोई क्वेश्चन बोला, आपको हो सकता है पता नहीं, तो आप उसको नोट करना है. तो सर हम इसको देखते हैं, अगर इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल पोल्यूशन कर रहा है तो इसके ऊपर मुझे आइडिया नहीं है, मैं उसको देखता हूँ. मतलब आपको सिंसियरली उसको देखना है.
जी सर.
मतलब आपको ऐसा नहीं मुझे मिला मैं दिखा दिया, ऐसा नहीं. आप तो सेल का इंचार्ज है ना, ठीक है. आपका कोई भी क्वेश्चन आए उसको आपको रेस्पेक्ट करना है और उसको सही तरीके से जवाब देना है, वही सीखना है आपको. मतलब क्वेश्चन आपको आंसर पता भी नहीं हो सकता है आपको कुछ आंसर पता नहीं है, तो आपको लिखना है सर हाँ अगर ऐसा है तो मैं और स्टडी करता हूँ, इसके ऊपर मैं ध्यान करता हूँ और नेक्स्ट टाइम बता देंगे. ठीक है.
नेक्स्ट. Now some practical examples of work what government can do for flood preparedness for or awareness. It is before flood, during flood, and after flood. Before flood, this picture shows is the have needed information. Have list some hamlets wards affected in Gaon Panchat last 25 years. It is data has been collected from internet. So before flood, we have to identify the families with numbers of children, women, elderly, or widows, etc. And which families are closest to river, families living in poor housing conditions, families living below poverty line, families who have the restored to relief camps in previous flood. List of community assets, suppose schools, Anganwadi centers, health center, etc., etc. These are before floods. We have to assess this by going to Panchayat in the local remote area. And during flood, we have to activate our preparedness and responding to the situation. Suppose disseminate the early warning using the megaphone in coordination with DDMA. District Disaster Management Authority. So mobilize the task force to rescue the stranded people to flood relief camps. Sir, 7 to 8 है sir. Slide.
ठीक है, खत्म कर लो ना पार्था, आप खत्म कर लो. Okay.
Now during floods, we have to take this activate the preparedness and respond to the situation. So number 2, the mobile task forces to rescue the stranded people to flood relief camps in coordination with GDM and NDRF. So during the floods, we have to take these initiatives. Lastly, the mobile task forces to support the camp with such management, such food, water, sanitation, everything we have to provide in that area. Next, after flood, this MG and NREGA schemes by the state government of Assam and other schemes, suppose conduct desalination drives, etc. Suppose sanitization and restoration of relief camps. So after flood, we have to take this type of initiative. And to assess and monitor the impact on climate change on the water resources in the Brahmaputra and the border valley basins. These are some methods. Suppose one hydrological modeling using the SWOT model means the soil and water assessment tool. And next, the climate projection means climate models means the computer simulation methods. Now, next is thermal contribution and water balance and stream flow analysis. Now, rest part will be delivered by my friend Jayanta Das.
sir. Sir, respected sir and my colleagues, मैं Jayanta Das हूँ climate cell का sir. मैं सर फ्लड मॉनिटरिंग और फ्लड रिस्क के ऊपर बोल रहा हूँ सर. फ्लड हैजार्ड मैपिंग ये डेवलप flood hazard mapping based on historical flood data, historical modeling, and climate change projection to identify areas at high risk. Flood early warning system. Improve and strengthen flood early warning system, integrating hydrological data, weather forecast, and community-based information. Floodplain management. Implement measures to manage floodplains such as restoring wetland and improving drainage system to reduce flood impact. Riverbank protection. Strengthen riverbank protection, measuring using technique like geotextile, geobags to prevent erosion and reduce flood damage. Assessing ecosystem services. Map and access different ecosystem services provided by Brahmaputra and Barak Valley, including fisheries, agriculture, and biodiversity. Addressing transboundary issues. Establish mechanisms for sharing hydrological and climate data among countries to improve regional cooperation.
Sir, explain this. To enhance the Brahmaputra board's resilience to climate-related risks like fast droughts and shifting water patterns, a multi-pronged approach is needed, focusing on the both structural and non-structural measures. For Brahmaputra board, this type of initiatives should be taken near future to enhance from the climate change. This includes establishing embankments, dredging of rivers, implementing the modern wilderness stations, means AWS, and improving the flood forecasting. So we have to do this type of initiative from our side. Next, sir.
No, sir.
Last one side.
No, sir.
Our vision. Number one, to install and set up an AWS automatic weather station in Brahmaputra board headquarters campus, including all division of office campus of Brahmaputra board. Now, sir, ये अंडर प्रोसेस में है, मतलब हम लोग तो ऑलरेडी पुट अप कर दिया है by taking the specification from IMD. Next, the hydrological models, SWOT models should be run by our department. मतलब सर इसके पर हम लोग को एक ट्रेनिंग भी चाहिए ताकि हम लोग ये रन कर सकें. Next week, in the updating of master plan of Brahmaputra board, a chapter on the climate change, subject to climate change in detail should be incorporated. Number 4, knowledge sharing program with other departments which are involved in the field of climate change should be organized. And number 5, climate trend analysis for last 20 years in the lower east Brahmaputra, means it's a Guwahati basin.
Mainly Guwahati.
Mainly Guwahati. In India, mainly after necessary studies. So number 5 के ऊपर से आप लोग को ध्यान देना है. हाँ सर, last 20 years में कितना trend analysis हुआ?
Will not be. I don't know. So you please go through that. If you have any data, any point to raise, then you can make a point. नहीं, कुछ नहीं है.
Okay, thank you, sir.
अच्छा, फिर ये आप कह रहे हैं कि you want to install AWS. So do you know how many AWS have been installed in this basin? Or you are going to do some duplicacy? You have to talk with some other department also.
Sir, because IMD, they have suggested us to, but they have installed, one is Borhozai Stadium and one is in Brahmaputra. So there's they told that if
what AWS will do,
sir,
what data you are going to acquire from AWS,
sir,
and how is going to help you in this climate change trend analysis?
Rainfall, temperature, humidity.
चलो ठीक है, thank you.